Yes, guys, this is a voiceover video, and the reason that I am doing a voiceover on this video is the fact that the subject that we will be talking about in this video, I don't think you guys would hear me very well at the speeds that we're going to be going on this video. So, what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about zones of safety on the superhighway. Let's explain, what is zone of safety?
Well, zone of safety is just what we're looking at here right now. Every vehicle that's around us, it adds to the danger. And we're looking to stay in the areas where we're keeping up with traffic, we're not a speed bump, where there are less vehicles around us, behind us, alongside of us, maybe merging on around us. So we want to limit the number of vehicles that could possibly contact us physically.
So the first thing I guess we're trying to do here is we're trying to establish where our zone of safety is.
And right now it's pretty good, right? You guys can't see out the back. We don't have cameras right now, but we're staying in the right-hand lane. Obviously, SJ is in the left-hand tire track. And for us right now, we're happy with this. This is a zone of safety for us. There's nobody close to us. This is wonderful. As you can see, the car is up in front of us, and what you don't see is behind us. I guess we should have a rear-facing camera for this, or a 360, but we don't. So you have to take our word for it.
Now here we go. We're coming up to a tractor and trailer. And the one thing that you don't want to do when you are on a superhighway is stay behind a tractor and trailer, any type of trailer, anybody with a pickup truck or car that's got something attached to it or something that can fly out. And when you go around these vehicles, or any vehicle, you want to go around them quickly. Don't doodle. Don't, take your time. Because you want to make sure that you are out of their blind spot and away from them as quickly as possible.
That's correct. Any vehicle towing something, if you see a pickup truck in front of you or a flatbed trailer or anything, if they've got something in there that you can see, particularly flatbed trailers, they like to lay boards and this and that, and if they're not tied down properly, they'll, we just went over an overpass now, which these aren't smooth on this particular highway. That could bounce out of that truck. I've had it happen. And next thing you know, you got a 4x4 coming for you. And tractor trailers, especially in the summertime, it gets hot, the roadbed's hot, they'll throw tread. And
that's just not with tractor trailers, dump trucks, or just trucks carrying a trailer. That's for cars with, mattresses, that maybe weren't tied down too good, bicycles that maybe aren't tied down. Anything that's got any vehicle that has anything tied to it in the back of it. You don't want to do that.
You don't want to be behind anything pulling a trailer or anything that would have an increased stopping distance. You don't want to be in front of them either. Yeah, put them a quarter mile behind you, an eighth of a mile behind you, but don't let them be behind you, directly behind you. And that 3-second rule goes out the window, 4-second rule. No, they have a diminished stopping ability. So likewise, with you being behind these vehicles, you don't want to be too, close to them, having them as a following vehicle. You want to maintain a decent distance with them behind you. When we saw this guy coming up, we moved over for these guys. They were close to us. They were saying, get out of our effing way. You know what? Never get in somebody's way. See what's going on here? Now we're following him because the car on the right's going slower than the rest of the traffic in the right-hand lane. So we're going to get around this guy, and we're going to keep going. Now we're hunting for a zone of safety. We were in one for a while. It evaporated. And that's what happens. You can't stay in one spot in the highway and maintain a zone of safety forever. So we're now hunting for a zone of safety, and we're going through this guy here on the right pulling this trailer. We don't want to be behind him, so we're going to continue on looking for him. By the way, you don't. Another thing, if there's a crowd of cars and something goes wrong, and you're on a motorcycle, I don't know how many. See, we got people passing us, and that's fine. They're not sitting there, in our blind spot. They're passing us, but if you're on a motorcycle and there's a whole cluster of cars and something goes wrong within that cluster, you may become a victim. Someone may be more apt to hit you because you're on a motorcycle and you're not going to hurt them because we're all animals with this animal instinct. They may be more apt to hit you than run into another car. So you got to be careful. This is all about how we feel safe while we're on a superhighway. We're trying to demonstrate this idea to you guys.
And again, a zone of safety is keeping up with traffic, keeping a safe distance from the car in front of you, and a car behind you keeping a safe distance from you. So if you end up with that safety zone where you don't have a car up your rear end behind you, but they're keeping a safe distance, and you have a safe distance with the car in front of you, there's your safety zone. That's what you're looking for. And you're keeping up with traffic, and traffic is flowing. But if you start getting somebody coming in from behind you that's, running up your rear end, you're losing your zone of safety. So now it's time to move on and find another zone of safety.
Right.
Because not all the time will they go out in the left-hand lane and go past you. A lot of times, if you even notice in a car, you'll get somebody that'll be crammed in your rear end and stay there.
Yeah, get out of their way.
So, move out of their way, even if they don't want to get away from them. It's all about remaining safe. And as cars, as you see here, start to slow down, now you're losing again your zone of safety. Time to move out and find another zone of safety that you can ride in. Now here we're coming up to an area where there's an on and off ramp. And the one thing you want to do is you want to keep an eye on the on ramp. If there was a car coming here, the first thing you want to do is make sure that there's nobody in the left-hand lane and you go over as a zone of safety, because a lot of times they'll just come over on you. They don't care.
Right.
So make sure if you see a bunch of cars coming down an on-ramp that you move over if you can safely.
There you go. There's a vehicle pulling a trailer. Yeah, and a lot of times our main idea, again, we want to be in a safety envelope. And to attain that, right now we're going over the speed limit to keep from become a speed bump. We don't want to be a speed bump for anybody because you get killed that way. But right now we're happy with where we're at. We're probably 5 to 10 miles an hour above the speed limit. But we're trying to keep up with the traffic, but not the slowest moving traffic. Sometimes if you get caught up in slow-moving traffic and you're the first one, then an oncoming vehicle, or approaching vehicle from the rear, you don't want to be that approaching vehicle. If you got 4 or 5 vehicles between you and the ones that are coming up in the right-hand lane ready to go out in the left, that's fine because that's a safety buffer for you. You don't always have to be passing someone, but if you're all out there by yourself and there's vehicles coming down on you at a high rate of speed, you're in a bad spot. So sometimes you have to get out in that hammer lane and exceed the speed limit by a whole bunch. And here's my reasoning with that. I'd rather have the ticket. I'd rather have the ticket than get myself killed. There's no such thing as an easy accident on a limited access superhighway. People die on these things. And you on a motorcycle, you're at somebody's chip shop.
We're not allowed to lane split in my state. So there is no going between cars and all that kind of stuff. And granted, this traffic is light on this highway today. But, you still have to look at the zone of safety when you're on a highway that is crowded. You still have to be, and you have to be even more careful because now you got so many cars on your left, so many cars on your right. And this is a 4-lane highway, 2 in each direction. You get on a highway that there's, 3 or 4 lanes in each direction, you really need to pay more attention and even have more of a zone of safety for you and be aware of that zone.
Yeah, I mean, there's rush hour traffic on a superhighway. About the only thing you can do is try and maintain a safe trailing distance and stay out of people's blind spots. But, when you have a situation like this, you want to hunt for areas where you feel very comfortable in and safe in. And because there's really nothing out here that maybe an animal, these are fenced off, but every once in a while an animal will crawl, run onto an on-ramp, and now you have an animal on the on-ramp, and they wind up out in the highway. But generally speaking, your worries aren't as much on the roads that you guys normally see us on.
Secondary roads.
The secondary roads, there's real danger with a deer running out in front of you or something.
Well,
like that.
you on a highway, you don't have deer, really. You don't have driveways.
Right.
You don't have intersections.
Yeah, actually a lot safer, but
you do have the point where you will have somebody that'll come over in your lane last minute.
Yeah,
this is my exit.
Your biggest enemy are the vehicles around you.
Correct.
And so, out of all of my riding, this is where I've done the most of my riding. Limited access, superhighways. And this is why I've developed this for me. This makes me feel good.
But we just wanted to show you a riding technique for the superhighway that hubby has used for years, that he developed, that he has shown me to use, and that maybe this would make you feel a little bit more at ease riding on a superhighway if you're a little nervous about that. Or, like, again, if you're a seasoned rider and maybe looking for something new to try, to keep safe on the highway. So here it is. This is our technique, finding your zone of safety on the highway. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for more great motorcycle content from me and hubby. And until we see you guys next time, ride safe, stay healthy.
Because you couldn't keep your hands to yourself in the audio chat.
I try to keep my hands to myself.
Well, obviously, you were keeping your hands.
Why don't you worry about your own shelf? Worry about your own shelf.
The table was...
worry about your own shelf.
You were molesting the table.
I was not molesting the table.
Yeah, you were molesting the table, and I saw that thing rocking the whole time.
I'm molesting the table.
You were.
Worry about your own self.
Bye.
Just worry about your own self.
Bye.
Worry about your own self.